Hi everybody. So I wanted to put together a video of some of the most common things that are said or asked from us as a family. When we go out with all of the kids, me and my husband and the 5 kids, I get asked constantly some of them, like there's a question that I'm always asked and I don't know how to answer it, to tell you the truth. I don't know exactly what to say. The question that they ask me most is, how do you do it? How do you do it with 5 kids? I get that asked all the time. And I honestly have no idea what to respond to that. Like, how do I do what? What exactly are we talking about? How do I clean? How do I take care of them? How do I cook? How do I take care of myself? What do you mean by how do I do it? And a lot of times they say, how do you take care of them? How do you have time to do everything and take care of them? And I usually answer with, you have to be really organized. As you could see in the background right there, I have trash that needs to go out from last night. I get as much done as I can during the day. I do not push myself to do more than I have to or more than I can. I usually push myself to do more than I have to. I'm lying about that. But I do push myself to do as much as I can, and the rest has to stay for tomorrow. I have priorities. Priority is the kids. I have to make sure they're fed, they're happy, they're taken care of, they have their bath, they have their homeworks, they have everything done, and then I get to the house. And that's after I get my own homework done when they go to bed. I try to clean, major clean, 1 day a week, and that's usually on Fridays. So I'll talk about that on another video, but that is the most common question I'm asked. How do you do it? And I just tell them, I just do as much as I can, and I'm very organized. I have to be. I have to follow a schedule, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do it. And I always have to give myself some cushion. Like, if I need to be somewhere at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I know it takes me about, let's say, hour and a half to get everybody ready and ready to go, then I need to give myself 2.5 hours just in case something comes up. Because you know, with 5 kids, something always comes up. Someone poops in their pants. Someone has an accident somewhere else. Somebody needs something and you can't find it. There's always something with 5 kids that you have to do the very last minute right before you're about to leave the house. The other very common question I get asked is, do you want more? Yes, I do. And when I say that, their jaw is on the floor. So I don't know why that's so shocking, considering there's other women with more kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. I only have 5, and their jaw literally drops to the floor. They cannot comprehend how I could want more children, but I totally understand, and I tell them, they always ask me, how can you, aren't you tired, aren't you done? And I tell them there's a threshold. We all have a threshold for everything. There's certain things that they could maybe surpass the threshold for something that mine was way lower, and I can't do it past a certain point. But I tell them, you have a limit of 2, my limit is a little higher. We're all super moms in our own way. We're all doing what we can, the best we can for our kids, whether we have 5, 2, 1, 7, 14, it doesn't matter. The fact is, we just all have a limit. I mean, my limit is a little bit higher than somebody else's. So I've always wanted a lot of children. Even when I was a little kid, I used to babysit all the kids in the neighborhood. I would beg their moms to let me watch them. So I knew from the time I was little that I wanted a big family with lots of kids. So I'm not surprised that it continued. And in fact, after I had my children one after the other, I just wanted like more and more and more. And I kept thinking to myself, how am I going to stop? I love having these children. I love having my babies. I love taking care of them. I love watching them grow. And some people are like, maybe you're trying to fulfill some sort of psychological issue, and that's not the case. I don't have, my children are not linked to any psychological issues that I might have, which I don't. But I don't, they're not fulfilling an empty void in my heart, nothing like that. I love having children. I've always loved children. Even till this day, if I go somewhere without my kids and someone else brings their kids, I'll go love on them and talk to them and all this stuff, and I get the comment like, you came without your kids, don't you want to enjoy the night without them? You're over there loving on someone else's kid. And I'm just like that. And my husband's very, kids love him too, so he's very kid friendly too. So I guess it's a good thing if we're going to have a lot of kids. Another one I get asked a lot is if my two oldest are twins. My oldest is 7.5, and my second oldest, my second son, is almost 6. So no, they are not. Oh, Jojo fell over. Hi, honey. Here. Say hi. You're such a sweet baby. So, no, none of my kids are twins. They are actually, I always tell them, no, they're 1.5 years or so apart, each and every one of them. Except for my last, number 4 and 5. They're about 2.5 years apart. So, they're the ones with the biggest gap, which is about normal for everybody else. So, and I've seen women who have like 1, 2, or 3 back to back, but never 5. So I had 5 kids in 6 years. So yeah, they do look alike, but I don't think they look that much alike that you would say they're twins, even though fraternal twins don't always look alike, and some are very different from each other. So I guess in a way they could be twins, but no. Anyway, and then the next question I get asked a lot is, do you have help? And I always have to ask them to clarify what they mean by help. Are they talking about a nanny, a housekeeper, my husband, my mother? What do you mean by help? No, I don't have help. My husband, he helps me after work. And he's actually very, very useful. He will help me put the kids to bed. He does a lot of the bedtime routine where I'll get them their pajamas and make sure they get changed into it, but that's about it as far as my bedtime routine goes. But with the baby, I'm the one completely in charge. I have to feed him, I have to change him, I have to bathe him. But my husband will bathe the older kids. He will change them. Well, actually, he bathes them, he sends them downstairs. I get them changed. Once everyone's had their bath and they're changed, he'll take them all back upstairs, get their teeth brushed, read a bedtime story, and then they split into 2 rooms. I have 3 bedrooms, so there's 3 kids in one room, 2 in the other. So they'll split and they'll go to their own rooms and sleep. Their bedtime is usually around 8 o'clock. We try not to go past 8 o'clock. It's good for our sanity too. We get some time to ourselves before we have to go to bed. But I am in charge of Joey. I'm the one who puts him to bed and bathes him and everything else, feeds him and everything. My husband is not good with babies. He gets really nervous and doesn't know what to do when he gets a little cranky. Plus, he doesn't have boobs, so... and that's what Joey is looking for. But anyway, so I tell them, no, other than my husband helping me during bedtime or when he's home on the weekends, other than that, I have no other help. I don't have a nanny. My mom can't help me. She's working. She works full-time. She has 1 day off during the week, and I usually don't want to bother her and make her come sit here with my 5 kids and try to, deal with all this when she has to work all week. So she does visit me. She does come around and stay for a couple of hours. And if I have some help that I need for like washing dishes or folding laundry, she'll help with that. But other than that, no, I don't have regular help. I'm pretty much on my own all day unless they're in daycare when I'm at school. Sorry, I made a list, so I'm looking down at that. Okay, the other question I get is, how do you have time to cook, clean, take a shower, do everything else? Okay, so, and that goes back to my first question of how do you do it? Number one, I don't always cook or clean. That is one of the, cooking is priority over cleaning, obviously. So sometimes we have a peanut butter jelly night, other times we have a cereal night, but majority of the time I would like to cook dinner, and I usually try to stick to simple things like chicken that just needs a little bit of seasoning, some cooked potato that I'll make into mashed potatoes, rice, or vegetables, like in frozen vegetables in a bag that you just kind of steam and then add some flavor to it. Those are pretty easy things. I also love my slow cooker. Slow cookers come in handy a lot when you know you're going to have a busy day where you're going to do things all day. Like, there's times where I get out of school, pick up Joey, run errands like grocery shopping or whatever else I have to do, pick up the other kids, come home, and by that time it's already 5:30. And after running around town all day, I don't want to stand around and cook. So if I know in advance that I'm going to have that kind of a day, I will usually get my slow cooker going. If I have to stop in and get it set up, because I don't have like a timer on it, I have to start it and end it on my own, like the on and off switch. It's just a basic slow cooker. So if I have to stop in, turn it, dump things in there, turn it on, then I'll do it. But it's so easy. It's like my best friend when I know I won't have time to do things. Other than that, I try to keep it simple. Like, a lot of times I try to cook things that won't take too long and that are, like, doesn't require a lot of preparation and things like that. Lots of chopping and cooking this separate, cooking that separate, a whole lot of gourmet food making. I'll do it on the weekends, but normally not during the week because I have a lot of stuff to do during the week. And the kids come home a little late. So I have to explain to them that. Anyways, that I'll do another video on also. So, and then I get asked, are they all yours? I get that asked a lot when I'm walking in the mall and they see me with 5 kids, especially if I'm alone, they'll say, are they all yours? And although I would like to respond with a sarcastic, no, I borrowed the neighbor's kids just to make my shopping trip extra difficult, I don't. I just say, yes, they are. They're all mine. I'm not borrowing anyone's children. They do all look alike. So I say yes, and I usually get the wow, you got your hands full comment and things like that. Then I get asked, what does your husband feel about this? How does your husband feel about having so many kids? And usually he's there to answer that question, but my answer to that usually is, well, we have them and it takes 2, so he must be okay with it. He wants them too. If that's what you're asking. Did I trick my husband into having children? No. We're pretty much planning all of this together. And then I get asked, how many more do you want? When they ask me, do you want any more? And I say, yes. The next question is, well, how many more do you want? When are you going to stop? When are you going to have enough? And I usually answer with probably 1 more, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if we have any more, it will be one last one. Because that's about all my husband has agreed to at this point. But he also just agreed to 4, now we have 5, and now he's agreed to 6 when the time comes to try again. But I tell them, I don't know. As of right now, it's one more, and I'll keep them posted on that information later on. And that's it. I've gotten asked or said some really personal things before. I've had rude comments like, wow, or they'll tell me something like, why? Like, they'll say, do you have kids, and are they all yours? And if you say yes, and if they say, do you want more, and you say yes, and they'll say, why? Why do you want more? Well, let's think about it. I don't know. Why do you ask? Like, why is that any of your concern? It's just crazy. Like, some people just don't know how to mind their own business. They don't know how to be polite about things that they don't agree on. I understand that they think that I might be on welfare or something, but I don't care. I'm not, and it's not their business anyway. And even if you are, it's still not their business. I have nothing against people on welfare. Actually, when we came to America, my parents had to be on welfare so they could get like their life going here. It's hard when you come from another country and you don't speak the language and you don't know what to do, where to go look for work, and it's taking time. And you know, what are you supposed to do in the meantime? Let your children starve or live on the streets? You gotta take the help that's offered. That's what it's there for. So I'm not judgmental over things like that anyway. But yeah, so they always assume that I'm on welfare or whatever. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to have all my children. They keep me busy. So, and I'm happy to answer any questions that they have. And actually, I love the reaction of, do you want more? And then they get shocked. It's hilarious. But now I'm going to tell you about some of the comments I get. Sometimes I get people that say, your husband must have a good job. And again, that falls kind of under the welfare thing. It's like, that's really personal. I don't think that it matters or it's any of your concern. But you're not paying my bills or anything, so I don't think I need to inform you of my husband's job or anything of that nature. I get said a lot, you've got your hands full, and I say, yes, and so my heart too. My heart's very full too. I love my babies. I enjoy my time with my babies. And then I get some of the rudest things. One of the rudest things that I was told by a mother of one was, it's not only about having children, you have to take care of them too. You know, they need you to read books to them, they need education, they need attention, they need their own time together. And I thought that was really rude because this woman assumed that I don't read books to my children because I have 5 of them and not 1 of them. Why would you assume that? My kids get read to. Actually, my kindergartner reads at like a 1st or 2nd grade level, and even his teacher was praising me when I went in, and she said, oh, I could tell you guys read books to him at school or at home. And I said, yeah, we do. My husband, that's a bedtime routine. He reads books to the kids at night. So that's not nice. You can't assume that my children are going to be uneducated because there's 5, not 1. You also can't assume that my children don't get enough attention because there's 5, not 1. They each get their own individual attention whenever they want to. And if they have issues, we have a policy in the house for the 2 older ones who could read and write, that if they have an issue or something upset them during the day and they felt like we didn't listen to them, they could write us a letter and their issue will be addressed the following day. So me and my husband read the letter and we address the issue the next day. So they know that their concerns or their issues or they're not being ignored, they're important, what they have to say matters. So for that one specific lady to assume that was very upsetting. I can't lie, I do sometimes cry.